and welcome to the Krumkake Craftshop Family. I am so excited about this. I really like Ineffa. I really like Ino. Ino from her design is probably going to replace my main. So I really want to do my best to improve this family. And I got Ineffa. So initially, just to recap, I've had her since Wednesday now. It is Sunday. She is now level 80. She's on 1930 attack, so getting there. 411 EM. She's on 68 over 90 crit rate, so we're working on all of this. I decided I had her on a Ketane Crosspear originally, but with 111 ER, what actually happens is I use my skill, I lose my burst, and I have to change my rotation, and that's just not for me. So I'm just doing a Ballad of the Fjords, and I'm not doing double Hydro in my team, or I'm just taking care to not have two elemental resonances in the team. So she's probably going to stay on this unless Notcry gives us a better craftable, and then Sino will get whatever weapon I have available. She's on 4-piece Thundering Fury. I've been experimenting a little bit with the pieces. So her flower is still the same one, double crit EM, wasted HP roll. I could put her on this one, but she would lose crit damage, which I don't really want. Then double crit feather, a horrible EM Sans that I'm hoping to soon replace with an attack Sans when her new set rolls out a Notcry. Not horrible attack goblet, it just got a little bit too much EM, and she's got my off-piece attack circlet. So I actually put Odoron on the Thundering Fury piece because it's nice to have crit rate, but I need some crit damage on her, and I needed more attack. She was stuck on like 1500. We are leveling the artifacts, but I am completely out of Mora, so I need to explore the new region first. Then she's Caesar, she's staying Caesar. Her talents are coming along nicely. She's at 677, so I'm gonna still raise her burst and her skill, and then leave it at that until it's her time to get crowned. What I'll probably do is I'll crown her skill and leave her burst at 9. But yeah, I'm really happy with how she's going. And I've made some teams for her. So the following thing happened. I had a list of teams I wanted to try, and I tinkered around with them until I got them to a constellation that works. So one thing that's notable here is you'll see Mona in a lot of teams, and I'll show you later why, but essentially I have C1 Mona, and C1 Mona increases lunar charge damage by 15%. But yeah, so here I've got Mizuki, Mona, Kuki Shinobu, and Ineffa. Usually I don't like running double healers, but there is just currently no good character for the second Electro slot if I want Electro Resonance to get the burst more. So for those who don't know, Electro Resonance gives you that you generate electro elemental particles every 5 seconds when you get a reaction, so it just gets me my bursts more reliable without having to build ER. And since Ineffa needs EM, attack, and crit, it's kind of good to not need to build ER on her. Then these are the Sitlali teams. Obviously I got C2 Sitlali, we'll chat about this later. And then C-Tween. So C-Tween's bubble team is still Nivelette, but I replaced Raiden with Supers. I was gonna do Ineffa Raiden, but it turns out Raiden doesn't actually contribute to lunar charge teams. I was hoping she would like the burst damage increase would like help with the original trigger, and then having an EM Raiden was going to be good for the teams, but it actually isn't. The same with Odoron. He mentions lunar charge in his team, in his kit, but it's only for his personal damage. Then we've got Freminet. This is actually my favorite Ineffa team right now. So this Fizz team, so Nilo gives EM to the whole team because of the key. Charlotte is a cryo healer. I could be using Escoffier here because she would be getting like 3 of the, like she would be getting 15% rest rate, but I like Charlotte and I don't really have a team for her, so I'm keeping Charlotte and just excluding Escoffier on the basis that I can't max out her kit. But yeah, Nilu really important part of this team because she gives team-wide EM with the key. Nilo is also a candidate. If Aino gives team-wide EM, Nilo is going to end up being cut from this team. But that is a question for the future. Then we have Clorant. Very happy with this team. It's not very strong, but it's also not weak, so it works. I probably won't use this as Clorant's main team. It will just be a team that I'll have once Clorant has a fully leveled build, and once she's level 90, I will actually be testing out all of her teams, and you'll get to see that on stream and on YouTube. And I'll end up on like which team will be her main team. Then Mualani, this team has been really good. Mona is actually going to stay in this team because she really helps Mualani. Unless, obviously, I can get the M buff. Gilonen has been a lifesaver for the Ineffa teams because by having characters like Mona or Sucrose on my 4th slot, I need the Rest Shred slot to be a healer. So Kazuha just falls out. I can't use Kazuha on the Ineffa teams. I can only use Kazuha if like either the slot that I usually use for a Rest Shredder becomes a healer. And that is just not good. So I like using Gilonen. Plus having Gilonen kind of guarantees that I hit the Ballad of the Fjords passive. Then Ayato, he still doesn't have artifacts. I really hope I can replace Jingcho soon because I just don't like playing him. But yeah, this works really well. Essentially, Xingqiu reduces Hydro Res for Ayato's hits. Gilonen reduces the Electro Res and the Hydro Res, and then Ineffa does her thing. Then Yaimiko, this team is really fun because I can on-field my Hydro support here, so in this case I can on-field Mona, and I just switch between on-field Yaimiko and on-field Mona. Yaimiko is still missing some artifacts, but we're gonna get around to that. And then Heizo. This is the last team that worked. It was really, really fun. I really liked it. Sadly, there are 2 teams I was trying that didn't work. One of them is Keqing. So my Keqing doesn't have artifacts at the moment, but the problem in the Keqing Ineffa team is that with Mona, who is kind of the only Hydra support I can use who actually interacts with the reaction, and also with Xingqiu in a way, because my Xingqiu doesn't have a lot of ER, Keqing over applies Electro. So you just need somebody with a lot more Hydro application, who also helps with the team. Because obviously Kokomi doesn't really help because Kokomi has negative crit rate. So her lunar charge damage is non-existent, so you're taking one of your characters out of the reaction. Then the other character who didn't work, surprisingly, is Aoife. So within Natlan, Aoife's on-field time as a DPS is longer than Ineffa's duration. So and his C6 is gonna make this worse once I get it. So Aoife is gonna stay on Electrocharge with Ororon, Raiden, and probably Gilonen, probably Farina. Yeah, Ororon, Raiden, Farina. But he's gonna stay Electrocharged and I'm not gonna move him to a Lunar Charge team. But I'm hoping that once Aino drop, the Ineffa team gets it. Now I want to showcase 2 teams. One is the Bubble Citrine team. We'll just go to the new area and fight until we find some enemies. Probably around here. I will be using the treasure compass in between because obviously I need exploration, but yeah. So yeah, the Citrine team, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then I want to show the Mizuki team because it's some ridiculous damage. I hope it's a combat chest. Oh, I see a chest over there. Maybe that is combat. That doesn't look like combat. That's the problem. Like, the new area is lovely, but it's got very few enemies. That also doesn't look like enemies. Oh shit. Yeah, we don't have it. Whew. I'm just gonna remove the tracker. Yeah, so this is why I don't usually do that. We'll just do a bounty. I wish, like, the cactus boss, like that he was already here. I think there's gonna be like a quest where he gets unlocked. Maybe it's the one today. I'm gonna do it later. Okay, this is Jansan. This is not gonna be a combat area, but I know there's some tribal warriors down here. Otherwise, we'll go back to Natlan. It's fine. I finished the statue yesterday, which I'm very proud about. But yeah, by the way, with Ineffa, so building Ineffa actually removed all of my enhancement ores, so now I have to get new ones. Maybe down here. If it's not, if I don't find an enemy down here, we will just move. I think I've finished this cave. Yeah, I've got 80% exploration already, so it's a little complicated. We'll just go back to Natlan. We'll go talk to Natlan. That's always a good place for some enemies. It's a problem with a holiday resort. You don't have anyone to fight. But yeah, Natlan. I think over here there should be some hilly Charles. But yeah, it's been really fun to play Ineffa. I really, really like her. I like her a lot more than I thought I would. I don't like her enough to get her weapon because I'm happy with the Ballad of the Fjords. But I do like her enough that I will be spending all of the resin I get out of the 6.0 Battle Pass and out of the anniversary rewards on the Natlan artifact domain to just absolutely improve my Ineffa. Ineffa is one of these characters I really want to invest into in terms of artifacts. I have been better about farming artifacts, so one thing I did for these teams is that I went to the artifact domains. So you'll see a lot of 4-star artifacts. I'll show you it on this team. So on this team, Sucrose doesn't have a build yet because I don't have enough VV pieces. I'm missing 3, but she's got like one of these perfect feathers. So Nivolette is currently on 2-piece Thunder Soother, 2-piece emblem. And as you can see, his emblem pieces are 4-star pieces because Mono got to 5 stars. But this is kind of what I did with most of my characters, is I got them some decent pieces, but also I went for 4-star pieces where able to kind of speed up the process. I will be replacing them with 5-star pieces in the future, obviously, but for now it was important to me to have the stat bonuses. So there is the Hilly Churls to test the Citrine. So yeah, this team, very easy, same it always was. It's Bubble Citrine. You want to swirl Hydro. So what you do is Ineffa, Nivolette, Sucrose, pick up all of the bubbles with Citrine until her Bond of Life is full. But because Lunar Charge works really well, the enemies are dead. Sometimes you skip your skill with Citrine in the bubble teams, just to keep the Bond of Life stronger. But yeah. So with Citrine Bubble, you kind of want to do burst skill instead of skill burst. But yeah, maybe you are a little more stable than your Holy Troll friends. So yeah, Sucrose is really the MVP of the Lunar Charge teams. So, Bond of Life, Bond of Life, Bond of Life, Bond of Life. Let me burst on my Citrine. So we've got a 50% Bond of Life. Yeah, that was disappointing. He was still on his shield. So now we pick up the Bond of Life. That's a nice thing with Ineffa with Citrine also. She lets me pick up the Bond of Life without problems. But yeah, we did the 18k there. Boom, and that is it. So, as you can see, this team works very well. The second team I wanted to show you on this weekly recap is Mizuki. So this team turns out to be an absolute machine. I went domain farming with them. I thought, oh, this is gonna be chill. I'm just gonna farm some domains. They cleared the domains in around 20 seconds. So I was farming Gilded Dreams and they cleared the Gilded Dreams domain in 20 seconds. because of this. And that's it, that's my Mizuki team now. Essentially, Ineffa absolutely elevated my Mizuki. Mizuki, by the way, is on 1000, like you see, she's got the EM bonus from combat now, but she's on 1040 base EM, 1420 attack, and she's got 26 crit rate, so it does help. I level 90 to her weapon, she's obviously on VV. All of her pieces are really useful. I have to turn off this artifact thing. I don't know how to. Can we do this? Yeah, no. And then she's still C1, and I'm still working on her talents. But yeah, so Mona. I wanted to talk about Mona with Ineffa. So when Mona's on TTDS, which obviously really useful, especially if you do Mona and then Ineffa. She's on 4-piece emblem, as I said. I've been using some 4-star artifacts, and she is C1. Here, lunar charge damage increased by 15%. It's such a small thing, but it's so useful. And then obviously she gets bonuses based on her ER. And then Sucrose, just to show you what Sucrose does for Ineffa while I'm using her. Here, ignore her artifacts, but characters have their elemental mastery increased, characters have their elemental mastery increased, additional type of elemental energy, and so on. Like, she just gives EM to the team, and it's really, really useful for Ineffa. Because what you kind of want to do with Lunar Charge is you want to build crit rate and get EM from artifact and weapon passives. And obviously with Ineffa, you build attack and you get EM from your passives. And then you end up with things like 411 EM Ineffa. So notably, Lunar Charge has horrible scaling. So you need 400 Lunar Charge for a 100% bonus. So what I would actually like to have is so I usually try to have my reaction bonus hit 200 to kind of treat it like crit damage. Like, my goals are always 200 for crit damage, 200 for the reaction bonus. So actually these teams need a lot more EM. So what I'll do with an Ineffa is once I'll hit her attack goal, I will actually start building EM on her with improvements. But yeah, this is Ineffa. And I'm really excited to have her.